and welcome to Help I Sexted My Boss, the podcast where we help you navigate the challenges of modern life, answering your 21st century questions and finding solutions to those everyday dilemmas. That's called being on it, because I'm knackered today, but I sound really cheery, don't I? Are you impressed with that? That's in your face.
Yeah. No.
Sorry, Gene, literally about 2 minutes before I was recording, I was like, yeah, no, I'm sound. Yeah.
That's the professional you are.
No. It's showbiz. Once the lights are on me, darling, I just come to life.
Biggest load of bollocks I've ever heard.
When the lights are on, I'm alive.
Have you ever seen that clip? Have I ever sent you the clip of my favourite clip of Russell Grant, who was the astrologer who did Strictly, and he was on a show on Channel 5. I was on the same show.
Russell Grant?
And he's talking to the presenter. He goes, I just worked out what was missing from my life. Showbiz. That was you just then.
Okay. Answering your 21st century questions and finding solutions to everyday dilemmas, like, am I the arsehole for hiding the good snacks from my partner? It's always a good insight into Ben's
Or maybe
week.
Kat writes these scripts.
And who do I... No, if Kat wrote them, it'd be funny. And who do I tell if I've been abducted by aliens? And, of course, what should you do if you've accidentally sexted your boss? But we're not your usual agony ants, are we? William Hanson, the UK's leading etiquette expert.
No, we're not Saturday Night's Jordan North. I'm more gold top, you're more council pop.
Hey!
And that's from Christina Hand.
Do you know what council pop is?
Water, isn't it?
It's water.
Yeah, I think you've done that before.
It's apparently council pop in town.
Nice.
What is the etiquette of being abducted by aliens? Would you take your shoes off?
If it was their spaceship, then yes. If they asked you to take your shoes off, then you... I'm pouring the G&T, by the way. You'll notice how quietly I've been doing it.
Okay.
Got a new bottle of Dubonnet.
As always, if you need our help with something, whilst William is pouring the gin and Dubonnet, that is what we have at the start of every episode, if you're listening for the first time. It's formerly the Queen and Queen Mother's favourite drink. It's our signature
You can refer
drink.
to her now as Queen Elizabeth.
Queen Elizabeth. Oh, can you?
Actually, Queen Elizabeth and Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, but it was their favourite drink.
Yeah. The Queen's Elizabeth. Oh, Queen's Elizabeth. I love that.
You pulled that off really quietly then. We have it and it gets you really
Times you
pissed.
said that.
You've got to try it. You can get in touch.
Long for the days before we were visualised.
Send your tales of trepidation to help@sexandmyboss.com. You can tweet us or send us a message on Instagram @sexandmyboss, or you can write to William, who promises a handwritten reply and his own letter to paper. The address is on the website, sextedmyboss.com. Who are we toasting to?
We're going to toast Johners, who was the genius behind getting my brother James to say, Wendy, can I borrow your potato peeler? Live on Radio Bristol a few weeks ago.
We've got a clip of that in case you've not heard it. Yippee! It's James here on BBC Radio Bristol. We've got a text here, yippee, saying, yippee! Wendy, can I borrow your potato peeler?
Joners.
James sounds nothing like that.
Like most of Jordan's impressions.
He's very good, darlings. If you've not heard him, it's Sarah here, James's mother. Oh, and Williams. He's on BBC Radio Bristol's, darlings. Every morning, 6 to 10, darlings. He's very, very good, darlings. I listen twice a day, darlings. Yeah.
Thank you. So, how's your week been? Have you had any dinners that you want me to ask you about specifically?
You're such a tosser.
You said ask me about...
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, that voice went high.
I didn't say that. Last night,
At the time of recording.
at the time of recording, I went for dinner with the Saturday Night Takeaway team last night because Saturday Night Takeaway starts.
It started.
It started on Saturday.
I watched it. You were excellent.
Yeah, we went for a meal.
Nice.
Good.
Was it a takeaway?
No,
No, they missed out there, didn't they?
But I'm not gonna lie, I was really nervous before because Stephen Mulhern, Fleur, Andy
Nice.
Peters, and all the execs. I was really nervous before because I'm like the newbie. But it's fine. I was chatting away.
What sort of food?
It was the well-known place that you go a lot.
I thought it would be.
So we're having the meal and it's going well. And I'm talking about my time in the castle and I'm doing my whole, it's the best thing that ever happened to me. Because,
Routine.
yeah. But you've
Had they heard that before?
No, I think so. I was like, if I can get in a coffin full of snakes, get on a plane and go to New York.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, you got in a lift on the way up. Now the thing is, I can get in a glass lift on my own if it's big enough. But I can get in lifts. I've never been in a lift on my own. Right?
No.
I have to be in with someone I know. So I was saying all this during the speech, and then I was like, anyway, I better go because it was like getting late, and I needed to go.
You were tiring of their company.
And the table was right next to the lift.
Yeah.
So I left, said goodbye, and they could all still see me. Do you know where it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I pressed the lift, and I was like, I don't want to go down on my own.
Oh.
They were all watching me. I just done this big speech out of the castle. It changed my life and everything. Right? And I'm like, thought I'll go to the toilet quickly and come out, and hopefully if anyone's in there, even a stranger. So I'm like peeping my head round the door, and I was like, oh, freaking hell, there's no one still there. So then one of them catches my eye, so waves. So I press the lift again, and it opens, and I got in on my own. And I was like hyperventilating.
They're quite big lifts.
But I didn't get stuck.
Oh, no.
So it's fine. That's the story.
Oh, bless you.
But I was like really nervous. I was so nervous before.
And in the meantime, you've given them a feature for the autumn series. Jordan in a lift.
Jordan in a lift?
Yes.
Talking to Stephen about how he used to have his magic sets when I was younger.
Oh.
It was genuinely, I felt like I was being such a fangirl. And he was like, are you joking? I was like, telling him about all the tricks he used to do. He's like, oh God, I remember that. And I told him I was a big Stephen Mulhern fan when I was younger. Yeah, like I loved Ant Deck as well. I was talking, like I felt like a proper fangirl of him. So I was saying to Stephen, and I used to go and see him in Butlins because my mum knew I liked him, so she used to put Butlins the week he was on. He still does it now. And I was telling him all about the balloon. He was like, oh my God, yeah. He was like, I remember that. And I was like, it would have been, he said, what year was it? I said, I can't remember what year it was. It was like 2001, 2002. But every night before you come on, they played that, that it was around that summer. Just cause she dance a loco, it don't make her. Wycliffe Jean. And he was like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Wycliffe, Stephen Mulhern came on
Then
for Wycliffe
I should have just left
John.
Then I just left it there. This is why I'm not cool. And then I'm like, I had to get on. I should have just played it cool. I'm speaking to Ant Deck. And I was like, I had to ask him about SMTV, didn't I? I had to get onto it. But I said to him, I was like, everyone goes on about Wonky Donkey and Chums. And I was like, but for me, my favourite sketch was Vicar of Dribley. And he was like, they were both like, oh my God, no one's ever said that to us before. I was like, do you remember Eminem Adele as well? And then they couldn't remember it first. And he was like, oh God, I was like, you used to come on as Eminem and chainsaw the whole setup. And they were like, yes. So everyone goes,
You could never get away with that now.
Everyone thinks of Wonky. Anyway, and then today I'm just like, I think I've fangirled and not played it cool.
Well, when Jordan's not on next week, we'll know why.
Is that really uncool?
No, don't just be yourself.
I was just worried.
Be yourself.
And
I'm sure they would have appreciated it.
And I hugged him at the end, and I think, oh, thanks for having me on this series.
Did you how long was the hug?
I think quite. I said
Did you cry when you were hugging them?
I said he's made my life.
It's made your life.
They're never going to ask me back.
Bless
You know how much I've talked. I can't believe I'm on this. I feel. I hope I don't sound braggy. I just can't believe I've been on this show, and then they've asked me to come back for another year, and yeah.
Well, I'm very happy for you.
I just didn't play it cool.
You got a bit carried away.
This is exactly what I was like with Scott Mills when I first met Scott Mills.
Right.
I was like, oh, do you remember when you used to do this on the radio? Or, I was like, do you remember when you used to do Loose Lips and Flirt Divert and stuff? He's like, yeah. Anyway, they were lovely. I was just not cool.
Oh, I'm sure not. Well, could we get them on for a bonus and talk to them about Jordan?
That'd be good.
Yeah. You cannot be here because I don't think you would handle it.
Yeah. Also, in slight contrast, I'm going to Millwall tonight.
Oh my God. Now, I don't know anything about football, but I do know, and I'm sorry for any Millwall fans here, Millwall is known as the most restrained, sophisticated, upmarket football club around.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a myth. They Burnley and Millwall used to be banned. The fans used to be banned from going to each other's grounds.
Presumably it's Burnley versus Millwall.
Yeah, so I'm going to watch them tonight. I've been to them before. I went with my dad when I was about 12, 13.
And
just after I went to watch Stephen Mulhern in Butlins.
Izzy Wizzy, let's get busy.
So I'm going tonight. But don't worry about it, it'll be fine. It'll only be a couple of year 8s in Stone Island.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I'll show you. Do you want to see my Burnley attire for tonight?
Yes.
So I've got my football jumper on. So you've got to wear a jumper with a badge.
A jumper with a badge?
This is Idris Elba. I nicked this from... This is actually... I pinched this... I found this at Radio 1. So
okay.
So you've got to wear a jumper with a badge. It's not Stone Island. Do you know what Stone Island is?
No.
Right. So this is my look tonight. Close your eyes.
Is it a stab vest?
Keep your eyes shut. Stab vest. Open them. What are you fucking looking at? I said, what are you looking at?
Jordan's doing like a penguin impression and like shoving his head forward.
Burnley, 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 Burnley. Oh, Burnley. I went into an
Can I ask why is it?
Used to frequent.
Isn't it Burnley? It's 2 syllables, isn't it?
But for the song.
We'll pick a different tune.
I went to. Have you ever started a footy song and no one?
Why are you even asking this?
Nothing more embarrassing.
Really?
Yeah.
I think a dinner with Ant and Dec's pretty embarrassing.
Oh. No one likes us. No one. But Millwall sing the same song. If you're on your own and you've got to kind of sing.
Think of the harmonies.
But yeah, that's my football attire for tonight. Anyway, how's your week been? What are you up to?
Well, I haven't embarrassed myself in front of anyone. I haven't.
Do you think I'd embarrass myself?
No, I'm sure they won't be thinking about it.
Yeah. Anyway, how's your week been? What's the
it's
latest?
been fine. No, nothing massively to report. Oh, by the way, Vicar Tom has heard your impression.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
What's he said?
I can't quite remember what the language was.
What was the impression again? I forgot.
It was sort of a cross between my mother and my father.
Now, William, we are joined here today.
It's gone a bit Lord Voldemort.
You and Mikey. And just hang on, let me have a sip of sherry here, William. Young William. So glad to see you, darling. I'm a very, very, very progressive vicar, but it's so nice, William, to get mentioned on the podcast. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you greatly. I will leave God's love with you, my child.
It's uncanny.
Right, I'm going to stop doing that because he's actually a really nice guy and I feel like I'm taking the piss a bit now. And he's genuinely a nice guy.
He is very nice.
And he comes and sees us all the time at our live shows.
Yes, he does. Anyway, no, so I've been fine. Tom's heard the impression. However, I'm very excited that Milton Keynes, that wonderful metropolis, has been given city status. It was given city status as part of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee.
I remember when Preston was given city status, 2002.
For the Queen's...
Jubilee.
Which one? Golden.
Red.
No, golden.
Golden Jubilee.
Anyway, the King, a couple of weeks ago, went to officially make it a city.
I bet we're dizzy. All the roundabouts they have.
And it reminded me of one of my favourite ever bangers. Do you know the Milton Keynes song?
No, but did I tell you the King and Queen Consort drove past me when I was going to Burnley?
Oh, no, you didn't.
I forgot to tell you. It was amazing.
We'll come on to that.
Sorry, go on.
This is my favourite song. It was brought to my attention about 6 years ago from my favourite radio show, other than Going Home, Treasure Quest. Going Home wasn't on 6 years ago, of course. With Jonathan.
Jonathan here!
Oh, we don't need another impression. Actually, that's...
Jonathan here! Everything's set. Oh, funny. Treasure chest.
Treasure chest!
Oh, play the song. Thank you, William.
Jonathan is who I do the Keeping Up Appearances Luxury podcast with.
Was that a good impression of that?
For you, that was pretty accurate.
Thank you.
Anyway.
So he whispers down the man, goes, thank you.
On Treasure Quest, they played this song, and I think it's a banger. And quite frankly, with a song like this to advertise the world's greatest city of Milton Keynes, which is a beautiful, beautiful city, they should have been made a city sooner. Hit play, Ben. This will be on your head all day.
What is this?
It's a great song.
You've never seen anywhere like it. Central Milton Keynes. You've never been anywhere like it. Central Milton Keynes. Seen shopping as it should be until you've been to Central Milton Keynes.
It's just great.
Who sings this?
You've never seen
The guy who does Pina Colada.
Central Milton Keynes.
You've never been
Anywhere like
it. Central Milton Keynes.
You've never been shopping as it should
All they've got is shopping.
until you've been to
Central Milton Keynes.
Now, I think there's a good trumpety bit now. There are women getting very excited in the background. Ah. Women go to Milton Keynes and get very excited.
This don't want to make you go to MK, then I don't know what does.
Exactly. Oh, the DJ's turning it off.
Have we got the rights for that?
Probably not. But
Don't ask for permission.
beg for forgiveness.
There you go. We'll see you in court.
Milton Keynes Crown Court. Anyway, I thought I'd bring that to your attention.
Well, that was great.
To be honest, heard it 6 years ago. I've been waiting 5 years to bring it to this podcast, and finally they were made a city.
Thank you.
You're such a cow. Anyway, talking
He
of...
will love that impression. He will love that. It's not just you. You know, I also do an impression of Katie Thistleton's husband on the radio.
Do you?
Yeah, and it's nothing like him. He's really clean.
Stop. You do an impression of someone that's nothing like
Really
them.
clean and tidy. I make him sound a bit like Frank Spencer. Katie, I need to clean it. Anyway, I'm not doing it on this. Go on.
Let's talk about Wendy. Can I borrow your potato peeler?
Oh, my God.
One of your more accurate impressions.
So, Wendy, can I borrow your potato peeler? I was talking about our neighbours when we were younger. She used to often come round and ask to borrow things. And my dad used to get me to do impressions of her. And one of the impressions was, Wendy, can I borrow your potato peeler? This started off last year, and now it's turned into a bit of a thing.
And obviously, someone John, as we mentioned him earlier, got my brother to read it out on his show. James didn't have a clue what it was, which we've done in a previous episode. Obviously, we're not encouraging G and Divas to text in to other TV and radio shows. Officially, we're not.
Okay.
We can't control what our G and Divas do. Here are 3 phenomenal examples of their work. First, from Smooth FM.
Could you tell Wendy that she means the world to me and ask her, Wendy, can I borrow the potato peeler? This is from Dave the Trucker. I'm not quite sure what that means. I've tried to decipher it and I can't. Thank you.
Can I just say, as a radio geek, the processing on that mic is absolutely fantastic.
Can I have his processing on my mic?
Oh, that is I wish the best. That is great processing. That how he. Oh, I want that I've got friends at that station. I'm gonna see what processor they use. Sorry, I'm such a geek.
They'll still sue us.
Who's the next one from?
This next one is from Talk TV.
William, deep in the north. Good morning to you, William. Hi, doctors. Happy show anniversary, David. Thank you very much indeed. I'm listening to you on my morning run. Wow, that's very impressive. Before visiting my neighbour Wendy to borrow her potato peeler.
That's a good excuse, William.
Very good. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. That's one of the
This
weirdest
is amazing.
messages, but anyway,
This is
you
amazing.
can never have too many potato peelers.
Was that you?
No.
That's amazing.
I also love whoever that was, and thank you for doing that. William, deep in the north. Let's just think about that for a minute. I don't know if that's what they meant.
I think it is.
I think it is.
Who sent that in?
William, deep in the north.
Oh wow, these are brilliant.
I think that might have been a G&D called Tom.
Oh, right, okay. Again, we're not encouraging this, but if you do want to try and trick out any radio stations or TV stations that read out texts and stuff, then yeah.
Although, will we be able to beat this one from BBC Radio 2 and Rylan on Saturday?
No!
Dame Sophie Ellis-Bextor breaking the circle on Rylan on Saturday. Kate in Milton Keynes just got in touch. Rylan, can you ask my friend Wendy if I can borrow a potato peeler? No, it's time for this.
This is brilliant. He sounds so good, by the way.
He does sound good.
His show is great. He sounds so good, does Rylan. Oh, that's fantastic. Honestly, this is my legacy.
I know, now, due to our context, I know there are a couple of other shows, particularly on Radio 2, where G&D had tried to get that one mentioned, but one of the show's producers is a G&D, so managed to catch that one before it went on air. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But well done for trying.
Well
we
done.
are aware of your attempt.
That won't get through the net. Keep trying.
Yeah.
That's Mr. Ben Stones.
Yes. Oh, okay.
We're not allowed to name him?
Yeah, the another producer Ben. In fact, he is known as Producer Ben on that show. It's very confusing listening to it. For me, anyway.
Oh, how is Ben? I've not seen him in
He's
ages.
gorgeous. He's lovely. I saw him the other day.
Oh,
He came out of a lift at Wogan House as I was leaving. I went, darling! And it completely confused the other producer who I was with. I'm thinking, though, the ending for this Wendy, can I borrow your potato peeler?
Ending? This is
this is pretty good.
What's the peak? What do we want to...
The coronation. That's where we're going with this.
You want...
The Archbishop of Canterbury, just as he's about to put the crown on top of the king.
Wendy, can one borrow your potato peeler?
I think the potato peeler could be part of the crown jewels.
Like what we did on tour?
Yes, like what we did on tour.
Give her a potato peeler.
A golden potato peeler.
Yeah.
And the
Or the
orb could be
original.
a golden potato.
Yeah.
It's one for your coronation fans.
Come on. We're
Anyway.
wittering on. What's your etymology? Is it etymology of the week?
It's that. Here's the jingle.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
It's William, William, the etiquette geek. His knowledge, quite unique. He'll give you manners, a subtle tweak. It's time for William's etymology of the week.
And this week we're talking about why do we take hats off indoors?
Because it's rude.
Yes, but why is it rude?
Because hats for outside.
Well, we'll go into this in more detail after these messages.
Thanks for sticking with us, Gene Divas. And it's now time for William's etymology of the week. He gives us some old school etiquette and why we still do things to this day. Does it every other week on the podcast. And today, William's going to tell us why we take hats off indoors. Mr. Hanson.
Well, let's look at the etiquette. So men, technically, whether it's a cap like that one you were wearing in the first half that you're going to be wearing to Millwall, men remove their hats indoors. Ladies are technically, in a social setting, allowed to keep their hats on. And ladies can keep them on because a lady's hat is considered part of her whole outfit.
Right.
And that goes back to sort of Orthodox Jewish women and other sort of Orthodox religions as well. And it was head coverings and it was part of conservative dress in the sort of the 17th, 18th and 19th century. And then as women's hair became more complex as well, a hat would have been literally plumbed and wired into the hair with wires. And so the etiquette evolved that a lady didn't take her hat off when she came inside because you didn't want, you couldn't physically because it was very difficult. Men, however, did, because men taking their hats off goes back to the medieval times. And if you were a soldier, a knight in the medieval times, what would you have been wearing?
Helmet.
Yes. And so to take your helmet off was a sign that you were coming in peace. So when men doff their cap or take off their hat, it goes back to helmets in the Middle Ages.
Oh, okay.
And that's why we take our hats off
And it's just
indoors.
rude to have your hat on indoors.
It is rude.
I wear a lot of caps and I always take them off when I'm inside.
Well done. The exception to that rule is if you're in a hotel lobby or a department store, then you can keep it on.
Why is that?
Because you are passing through. The idea is if you are coming into a room and then sitting down, you're stationary, so you take
What about
hat
the
off.
train, public transport?
That would be fine.
You can keep it on.
I would say you can keep it on. I probably would take it off, but the etiquette manuals from the sort of the earliest 20th century don't talk about that. But I would say you can keep it on.
You can keep your hat on.
There we go.
Take off your shirt. Not over there. God bless Joe Cocker.
Who was Joe Cocker?
He sang that. A few people did. Tom Jones sang it as well.
Oh.
You know Joe Cocker?
No.
You are so beautiful.
It's like he's in the room.
Why can't you see? You are so beautiful.
Nice.
I'm not done. Me. Okay,
We talked about your Go Hard or Go Home show, which is still available on BBC iPlayer.
Yeah.
So to celebrate your launch of that new BBC Three show, I've come up with a game called Go Hard or Go Home.
Right. Okay.
So I'm
Why
going
is-
to give you a situation.
Why has no one briefed me about this?
I'm going to give you a situation, Jordan, and I want you to tell me if you're going to go hard or go home.
You pair of shit. Why don't you tell me before we start?
When you get offered more D than you could possibly handle, do you go hard? You just spat all over me. Or go home?
Just to let you know, it's still available on BBC iPlayer to
Yeah,
watch.
go hard or go home?
Sundays, 9:00. I'd go hard. I'd go hard.
When you spot another naughty dog in the park, do you go hard? Or do you go home?
Go home.
When you see a sausage-shaped object in your best mate's freezer, do you go hard or go home?
Go home. Definitely go home.
And finally, when you catch your flatmate shagging a watermelon, do you go hard or do you go home?
I'd go hard on that one. Very good.
Thank you. Maybe more of that next week.
Thank you. We could do a spin-off of some of the TV shows you've done. Maybe not. Anyway.
I didn't even come up with that game. That was Ben.
All the ones you did 15 years ago. Right, now it's time for... Is this Russell Howard
What were you
or
doing?
Good News?
Let's do lunch.
Is this let's or do lunch?
I mean, I think you need to work on the format.
I'm only joking. I feel bad now.
I didn't even come up with it. I'm just the messenger. It's fine. I'm doing my other BBC Three show, as I say.
Which one?
I said it to you in the bonus.
What was it again?
Get Hard and Come Home.
Carry on.
That's just what you texted.
That was a good game, that. Do you know what, Dream Divas? Send in your suggestions for next week's Go Hard, Go Home. That could be
Yes.
good. Yeah, give us... It's basically like Would You Rather, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's more interesting than the actual Get Hard or Go Home. Well, don't you come at me.
Also, Dream Divas, whilst we're here, that show very nearly didn't happen because William and I fell out, right? So whilst we're having it out...
Well, it would have happened. It just would have been Joel Dommett.
Yeah, that's when we had our little... See, last
Tip.
last April when we didn't put an episode out because one of us refused to come into the studio.
That was you.
I mean, I didn't refuse to come in. It was a joke.
We love each
No,
other now.
it was a very stressful time. I
It
had
was a very-
prior commitments
You did.
with William, and William famously hates it if you cancel on him. So basically, he wanted me to miss an entire series because he had a curry planned at his house.
Oh, fuck. It was not the curry.
It all
Anyway.
worked out in the end.
And we have a nice time.
We did. Right.
Now, look, G and Divas, we have an exciting book update. After many, many sessions in the writer's room, staring at Jordan's artistic cock and balls that he drew on the board, we have finally completed the first draft
Yes. Oh, I'm
of the
nervous
Help I
about
Sected
this.
My Boss book.
So that basically means it's now being read by our publishers and our editors.
Yes.
And
They're crying.
God, it's nerve-wracking, isn't it? It's like sending an essay in, waiting for the feedback.
It is a
on the
bit,
essay, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah.
Tick VG or not.
Is that Diego? Oh, weird barking.
Sorry. The look on Ben's face.
Come on.
Yes, so we're very excited to share that. We've just finished, the last chapter we worked on was weddings.
Yes, we talked about weddings.
Of course, I had a lot to say.
I did as well, actually.
Did you?
Yeah, I felt like
You said a lot in the sessions that you were not getting married. You're never getting married. The sound of hearts breaking everywhere.
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Never say never.
Never say never.
Yeah. So
That'll be a show they commission for you, probably.
won't be beaten, really.
Look at that smile, by the way.
Yes, can we talk? No, we'll talk about your teeth next week.
What?
They're looking very good. They're looking very Saturday night. I need to give you a hug after this
you
because I've been
don't.
such a...
Cow.
I was going to use another word that was stronger, but I was also beginning with C.
Come on, then. Sorry, G&T. We've got to the listeners.
This is from Tim. Hi, William, Jordan and PB. What's the etiquette for talking about past sexual experiences during a date? I've had 2 experiences where this has happened. The first during a meal on a first date. Somehow the delightful lady I was entertaining got straight onto the subject of sex by telling me how much she loved being gangbanged by 3 guys at the same time. I'm no prude by any means, but I didn't ask about her past conquests, and it put me right off my bangers and mash. The second event was on a third date where a different woman relayed a story about how she'd randomly met a guy in the bar. If there are children listening, switch off now. And let him jizz all over her face. And I quote, I mean, at least they put the apostrophe in the right place, like a plasterer's radio.
I first, yeah. My
Of
mate
course.
once said that to me.
I'm sorry?
When I first heard that. No, a mate said my bed sheet's like a plasterer's radio. He needs to change his bed. Anyway. Jesus
course,
Christ. I
we
bet
all-
that was in a Weatherspoons.
Of course, we all have our sexual history, some of it good and some of it that maybe shouldn't be mentioned, especially during a dinner date. What do you think? Much love, Tim. I would say that probably those women aren't necessarily looking for a long-term relationship with you,
No.
Tim. They're probably thinking, did you meet on Tinder?
Also,
Can I put it that way?
What sites are you meeting these women on?
Tinder.
It's, yeah,
Plastersradio.com.
like... I mean, I'm no prude either. Christ, how many times then bin men want to change the piss in bins? Sorry, Gene Davis.
Now we've got chatting outside.
Honest to God, we'd be better off just recording this at Piccadilly Circus half the time. It'd be quieter. Sorry.
Should we do that one week?
Why not?
Just sit under Eros.
Who? Oh, there's not a frigging thing. It's a dog barking. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm not prudish, but I probably wouldn't bring up the fact that I'd been shagged by 3 blokes on a date. Would you? Would you?
No, it's probably not something I'd talk about.
No.
No, I wouldn't talk about your past.
No.
You want to keep a bit of mystery.
Yeah. Unless it's like a sex date. If it's a hookup.
Yeah, but over a night's dinner.
Yeah. Anyway.
I think no. So, Tim, in answer to your question, I wouldn't mention it.
Next one, please.
You are in a real mood today.
Why am I?
Jordan just literally whipped Tim's letter out of my hands and put it on the floor.
I'm not in a mood. I'm just being very, well, you know what everyone's saying in the comments. Very ADHD.
Oh, is that what they say?
Oh, everyone's convinced I've got it.
Surprised you can read them long enough.
I rung up for a test, I'm not going to lie. There's about a 6 months waiting list. And then I thought, well, I'll get it. I'm not doing it. Yeah, it's quite expensive.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So sack it, I've got this far. Yeah. You know, I mean, I don't sleep well and go off on tangents and get stressed easily. But,
Does it affect your sleep?
I don't know if I've got it. Everyone seems to be self-diagnosing me on the comments on TikTok.
Okay. Yeah. This is from Chloe from Stoke-on-Trent. It's not Cockney rhyming slang. Hello, William and Jordan. My father remarried in the summer of last year and decided to tell me by posting a video of this in the group chat and on Facebook. I didn't see the group chat message, but saw the post on Facebook. They married in Scotland, hundreds of miles away from home, having to travel past my location to get to the venue. They did not invite a single person to the big day, apparently, so no one else knew. Most family members suspect his parents, my grandparents, already knew prior to the event. My question is, do I have the right to be upset and angry that I was not invited, and more importantly, that they decided to tell me in a group chat with my extended and rather distant family? Thanks, Chloe from Stoke-on-Trent.
Chloe, I think they could have told you a better way than posting a thingy, a video, but I reckon they thought they were being a bit quirky and wanted to surprise everyone. But no, if they just wanted to do it on their own and didn't invite anyone, then I probably would try not to feel put out. But then again, that is your dad. You are his daughter. If I ever got married, which I'm not.
You can tell your daughter.
I ain't got a daughter, I don't think. I'd probably do it that way.
Right.
Just go off. No fuss, no hassle.
No fuss. There'd be a fuss.
There would not be a fuss.
There would be a fuss.
There would. I've never had a party, apart from the rowing home party last year. That's the only party I've never had an 18th, 21st. I wouldn't like it. I hate being centre of attention. Come off it. You know, like, I know, you'd think that, but I wouldn't. So that's the best. I know you think you would. I genuinely would. I'd be like,
I know you. Chloe, I would say, again, look, we're going off what you have written here. I don't know what relationship you have with your father. I'm suspecting it's not a close relationship, which is why it happened.
You can't assume that.
I don't. Well, no, I am going to assume, and please, by all means, write in if I've got this wrong. Yes, you have every right that maybe they should have told you personally because you are a blood relative, you are their offspring, but I would probably say it's not that much of a shock because I don't think you have a brilliantly close relationship with your father, and that's nothing to do with you necessarily. That's not a reflection on you. That's maybe just a reflection on all sorts of other extenuating circumstances I don't have the information on. But by all means be put out, but I would try to be the better person and celebrate the fact that he has found someone else.
Okay.
Is my advice. This one is from Joe. Without an E. Dear William and Jordan, a few weeks ago I took my car in for an MOT, and when I came to collect it, it wasn't quite ready. I sat in the waiting room for about 20 minutes while a group of mechanics huddled around my car. Finally, they brought my car around, and as the mechanic got out of the car, he gave me a smirk. What was this for, I wondered. As I got my car, I realised with mild horror that my phone had connected to my car and had been playing your latest episode the whole time. Mild horror turned to severe horror, however, when I rewound and listened to the episode in question. Instead of the etiquette of asking your boss to be quiet or stories about milk thieves, it was the episode where the dinner party guests, and all of us, discovered what iglooing was.
Oh my Jesus, Lord Christ.
So my question is, can I go back to my garage where they might think I'm some sort of a sex fiend, or do I have to find a new one? Love from Joe.
Joe, it could have been worse. If the mechanics...
Yeah, there could have been other episodes. Well, actually, no, that was the worst
It's
episode.
not like you're in the florist, is it?
Well, I mean, that's unfair to florists.
Oh, come on, florists would be mortified. Mechanics would be like, Dave, have you heard what egg gluing is? Well, apparently you shit into a condom and then you shove it up your arse. No, I'm not being wrong. I've just heard it on this podcast. Some northerners, some posh talk. Yeah, talking about it. You won't believe that. So, Joe, it's fine.
I would say it's fine. As long as you go back to the carriage and ask them to rate and review, we don't mind.
Yes, good one.
Okay, next one. This is from Chloe. Hey, Jordan, William, PB, and Diego. What is the correct etiquette when dealing with a sleepy passenger who is using you as a travel pillow? I start work very early and therefore get one of the first trains into London. So one morning I get on a train which is very busy and only has a few seats remaining, and one of them being next to this lady. With over half an hour before getting to London, I obviously would like to sit down for the journey, so I grab the seat next to her. The lady then falls asleep and eventually drifts her head onto my shoulder. As a London commuter, any kind of social interaction makes us nervous, let alone someone touching you. I did let the lady rest her head as I was too awkward to nudge her awake or push her off. It wasn't until a few good stops later that the train shunt caused her to wake up in shock. But it wasn't over. After the train pulls away from the next station, she does it again. What should I do, Chloe?
I think she's got a thing for you. Keep an eye out for, what's it called in Metro? Rush Hour with Love? No, that was on
Radio
what's
feature.
it called where they write in if you fancy someone, you send them on Metro, which was the Metro newspaper.
I would just give a little cough. Or go and get something out your bag.
Yeah.
I'd just move.
Yeah, or give them a little
You're never going to
shrug.
see them again.
Give them a little shrug. And then
Yeah.
if they're not, cough, get something out your bag. And then if they're still persistent.
Oh, you just hit your microphone.
Just give them a little smack on the head.
Jordan's microphone then flopped.
I say this as somebody who who hates confrontation and just sit there like... Yeah.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd cough. I'd move. You're not going to see them again. And if they go, oh god, did I fall asleep on you? You go, yes, it's fine. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Can I get you a pillow? Make a joke about it.
What if it's someone really fit?
Well, shrug. No. Even if it's that, no, I would probably not enjoy a stranger
Okay.
on my shoulder. But I wouldn't worry too much about it, Chloe. At the end of the day, you're not going to see them again.
On the plane home yesterday, there was a little old couple and she was asleep on his shoulder.
Oh, that's sweet.
It was really sweet. It was really sweet. Do you want to get that letter that you just chucked on the floor?
This is from Anonymous. Dear William, PB, and our Jords.
Oh.
I recently went out with my closest friend, her boyfriend, and her boyfriend's single brother to a local pub for drinks. Naturally, at around 9 p.m, the couple could hear the dulcet tones of their oodies calling them. So they decided to drink up and fuck off. That left the single brother and me. We knocked back a few tequila slammers, which then led to me having a one-night stand with my friend's boyfriend's brother.
It happened.
The next morning, I woke up in his bed and he went downstairs to make a brew there in the north. Thank God he did, because what I woke to was a bloody fucking shitmare. Mother Nature had paid a visit to my Garden of Eden, destroying the hell out of his mother's white Egyptian cotton fitted sheet. It's safe to say I panicked. I hunted his room high and low for fresh sheets that I could put on the bed so I could stuff the murder scene into my handbag and dispose of the evidence, but I couldn't find one.
Oh.
I could hear him coming back up the stairs, so I quickly made his bed, covering the massacre with the duvet. He asked why I had made the bed, and I said I thought it rude if I didn't. We said our goodbyes, and I left, leaving my uterus tears under the duvet. I was so embarrassed that I never told a soul about what happened, and I hadn't seen or texted him since. Unfortunately, in a few weeks, I am going to be the maid of honour at my closest friend's wedding, and the single brother will be the best man. Meaning we will have to spend the day together, get photos, and dance together. What do I do? Having a surprise shark attack between your legs at night happens to every girl, but how do I approach this situation, which I imagine is going to be very awkward considering he lives with his parents, the groom's mother and father, who I would have to wash Satan's waterfall from their lovely sheets. Isn't the English language so rich and varied? So how should I approach the wedding? At this point, I'm willing to dye my hair and move to Burnley to hide from this encounter. Yours faithfully, Anonymous.
Anonymous. Just own it. Just own it. There and then, as soon as you see him, or before it, just say, I'm really sorry about what happened. Don't make a big deal of it. If anything, he'll probably want to move on and not talk about it and just say, I'm really sorry I perioded it in your bed.
Right.
And it happens, and please don't be mortified. He won't be the first or last lad to see it in bed. God, no. Will he? So please, it's worse in your mind than it is his.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So please don't worry about it. It's you're more worried about it than him. And if he's got a problem with it, then
it's a reflection on him.
Yeah.
I've never been more grateful that I'm gay than reading that letter.
Poof.
I agree with Jordan. It's a reflection on the guy if he worries about it. If you do feel the need to say something, take him to one side and say, look, I'm really sorry. Can I give you some money for some new bedding or whatever? Hopefully he says, no, it's absolutely fine, not a problem, and just moves on. It's probably worse in your head than it actually is.
Good advice. You can listen every Tuesday and Friday. You can watch us on YouTube every weekend and get us all week on your socials. We're at Sexton My Boss, and we'll be back on Friday for the bonus. Thank you.
Very forceful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Say goodbye.
Goodbye.